we should probably turn the BGM back on. Anyways, a prime evening to all of you. I'm Thunderbird Pride, and welcome to this month's writing workshop, where we'll be talking about the 3-act structure and how you can apply it to your own storytelling. And I'll even give a good example too. And speaking of examples, I will pin the video I will be referencing soon. And shit. Actually, I should. It's been a long time since I've done a pin. There we go. But yes, spoiler alert, I'll be talking about Devil May Cry 3 tonight as my prime example of the 3-act structure. I'll just wait about 3 more minutes. I was kind of rushing to get this finished because I was sick for the majority of January. And then before I knew it, the first Wednesday of February was actually February 1st. So that put me in quite a bit of a bind. So until another 2 minutes, we can just hang out. How's everyone doing tonight? It's Wednesday night. You're halfway through the week. Well, not me. There's still one more instead of just 2 more days of work. Me, I've been feeling better since I've gotten better from being sick. I hope everyone's staying well during this winter season. Winter is where people are most susceptible to getting sick. So take care of yourselves, will you? Preparing a few last things. Like I said, I spent most of January being sick and bedridden, so I had to pretty much haul ass to get this done. And we are getting close. I think we can get started right about now. So, like I said in my tweet, tonight's lecture, we'll be talking about the 3-act structure. I'm sure many of you have heard about this at one point in your lives, probably in school. Well, tonight, I'm going to talk more in depth about it. So, what do I mean by the 3-act structure? How will we just get rid of this? What is the 3-act structure? It's a narrative with a beginning, middle, and end. More specifically, it's setup, confrontation, and resolution. It may seem like a basic structure, but it's highly effective. Tonight, I'll walk you through the parts of the 3-act structure, as well as provide a relevant example that I believe executes this well. Alright, on to the next slide. So, can we copy this? Will it work? There we go! Nice. So, this is the 3-act structure in a nutshell. Your first act is the setup, your introduction to your characters and the plot, as well as the plot point. Usually in the first act, Act 1, you have your call to action or inciting incident that kickstarts the plot, usually met with initial hesitation or resistance to the call to action. But eventually, the hero is forced to go on this adventure, usually after some preparation, either by getting the necessary tools or skills. And usually in between Act 1 and 2 is the plot point, or it's better to be called the crossing the threshold, where your hero crosses the point of no return and they can't go back to the status quo. They're in it to win it. Act 2 is the confrontation. As the name suggests, there's going to be conflict. There's going to be rising action, the stakes are raised, and usually there's some sort of plot twist near the end of Act 2 that just recontextualizes everything. And Act 3, the resolution, where you reach the crisis or climax, the big showpiece that you were building up to in Acts 1 and 2. And after that's the falling action. So, let's go more into detail about what the hell I was just talking about. Act 1 establishes the main characters and goals. So like I said before, you introduce your main characters and your supporting cast as well. Well, definitely establish the hero or the main character. Supporting cast can be in Act 1, usually they're in Act 1 and 2. or Act 1 or Act 2. And here, Act 1, you also establish what is the goal of the main character. Or, on the flip side, what is the goal of the antagonist? Because we'll be talking about that once I get to the example. Act 2. Raise the stakes. Culminating in a Oh, that's not how you spell culminating. Confrontation between a hero and villain. Of course, this is Act 2. This is like going to be a premature victory or defeat for the hero. Otherwise, there wouldn't be an Act 3. Usually, near the end of Act 2, something happens to the hero and or the villain, and the hero drops to their lowest point. And Act 3 is all about making the comeback. Speaking of Act 3, Act 3 resolves the story. The hero returns home a changed person. They are completely different from how they started this journey. Alright, now. Why should you use the 3-act structure? The 3 acts serve as individual events that logically follow each other. Act 2 can't happen without Act 1 happening first. And the same applies for Act 3. It needs Act 2 to happen first. The 3-act structure constructs a compelling story full of suspense and tension. So, now that we have our 3-act structure, let's break them down in more detail. Act 1. What to include in Act 1? The hero. Show what they're leaving behind in their everyday circumstances. The status quo they're abandoning, to be more specific. The setup. The who, where, and when of the story. Introduce the primary and secondary characters. The theme. Introducing the themes will allude to the transformation your hero will undergo. A hint about what the story is really about. But wait, there's more. There's more we need to include in Act 1. Call to action / inciting incident. In terms of writing, these terms are pretty much interchangeable. This serves as the catalyst that will send our hero into the unknown. Resistance. However, not every hero will jump at the call. Some might even refuse the call, or at least be hesitant to answer the call. Reluctance to accept the call to go on the journey. But this is going to be a problem if the call knows where you live. The big question. The action begins with confronting the hero with an external problem that reflects the hero's internal situation. And I don't know why there's an apostrophe there. Okay, we fixed that. Good. How can the hero solve these problems? After Act 3, the audience will know the answer. All right, duplicate. Next one. Following Act 1 is Act 2, naturally. This is called confrontation for a reason. Throw all sorts of problems at the hero. Test them physically and mentally. And either at the start of Act 2 or the end of Act 1, I should have put this earlier, crossing the threshold. This is the moment that the hero accepts the call, or something happens to ensure they can never go back to the status quo, the point of no return. We will give a good example of this later on when I talk about the prime example of the 3-act structure. Or at least, prime example in my opinion. The B story character. Introduce / flesh out a new character that accompanies the hero. This can be a helper, a love interest, a mentor, a foe, a rival, even an object. Fun and games. Oops, not fun games. Fun and games. There's a difference. Fulfill the audience expectations according to the genre. Okay, we're running out of room. Well, maybe we should cut this down too. Wow, there's a lot. There. Duplicate. Deck 2. That. Fun and games. Fulfill audience expectations according to the genre. This is where the hero makes progress. The midpoint. This is the premature victory or defeat I was talking about earlier before. Here, the stakes are raised. The journey is far from over. After all, we're still in Act 2. External to internal. What does this mean? It means the hero has to face their internal problems before real change is possible. All is lost. The hero hits rock bottom. And is forced to reflect. Can they go on? Will they go on? Kind of a mini cliffhanger before Act 3. And speaking of Act 3, here we go. The moment the audience has been waiting for. Time to resolve everything. It's really that simple. Tie up the loose ends. Answer the dramatic question. Back in Act 1. Remember that? If I can just find it. Yes. The big question. The action begins with confronting the hero with an external problem that affects the hero's internal situation. How can the hero solve these problems? That's where we're gonna find out in Act 3. Here the hero realizes how they can fix both their problems and their character. And of course, the big finale. The big moment. The final battle. Where the hero dies. And, well, metaphorically. And is resurrected again as a transformed person. And the closing image. A shot that mirrors the opening. Only now hero is reborn. Alright, so As you can see from the pinned comment in the chat window, the big prime example I'm going to be talking about for the 3x structure. Example of the 3x structure. Devil May Cry 3. So, big spoilers for Devil May Cry 3 in case you haven't beaten it. But if you're following me, you watched me beat it. And if you didn't watch me play it live, there's the VODs. So, the more I thought about it, the more I realized just how well executed Devil May Cry 3 is in terms of the 3-act structure. And then I started doing some research, and then I found this video by Codex Entry, which I'll be referencing a lot. Alright, so duplicate Act 1 of DMC 3. Alright, let's go through everything I've talked about. So we have the hero, Dante, or lady, depending on who you ask. There could be an argument made that lady is the true main character of Devil May Cry 3, and I will not disagree with that. So what's the setup? What's the premise? Alright, so Virgil and Arkham are trying to open the gate to the demon realm to claim the power of Sparta. Alright, yep, the setup. Okay, the themes. The themes introduced at the start revolve around family, responsibility, and loss. I mean, this whole mess started because Virgil, by birthright, believes he is entitled to the power of Sparta. Arkham is driven to gain demonic power, even sacrificing his own family in the process. Lady feels responsible for stopping Arkham solely because Arkham is her father. Dante has a noticeable lack of responsibility. He's not fighting Virgil to save the city. He's not fighting Virgil because of some sense of duty. No, he's fighting Virgil simply because he doesn't like Virgil. And this is like the start of DMC3 Dante. He's like this immature, cocky teenage kid who thinks he can solve all his problems with violence. And you can see by the end of DMC3, he transforms into a different person. And also, like, even though Dante in DMC3 is so cool, so badass, he's also a really big fuck up. Like, this is the least competent version of Dante we see throughout the series. Like, every attempt to look cool ends in abject failure. I mean, look at when he awakens to his devil trigger and does that whole sequence running down the tower and showing off. And what does he get for it? He gets swallowed by Leviathan. And the third theme is loss. Lady is greatly pained by the loss of her mother at the hands of her father, and that's her main motivation for exacting vengeance against Arkham. And the two brothers, Dante and Virgil, are motivated by their shared loss of their mother. Although how they approach that loss is drastically different. Also, hi Wade. We're talking about the 3-act structure, and we're talking about how DMC3 is like one of the best examples I can think of in terms of the 3-act structure of storytelling. Alright, what else was in the Act 1 of DMC3? Ah, yes. The call to action / inciting incident. Virgil's quote-unquote invitation to Dante, where he tests you with basic demons / the Hell Vanguard. Resistance. Dante pretty much ignores this until he gets interrupted trying to eat pizza. In one of the most comical / badass moments in Devil May Cry, where Dante's just trying to eat some pizza, gets impaled by like a dozen sights. It doesn't even flinch. He just kind of like walks off while the demons are still hanging on to the sights, and just opens up a can of whoop ass on them while saying, "This party's getting crazy." And that's how you establish character. And then, I forgot how it's spelled. Temminigru appears. That's the big tower, in case you all forgot. Dante goes in, and crossing the threshold. Crossing the threshold is like either end of Act 1 or beginning of Act 2. You can pretty much put it anywhere in that range. Crossing the threshold. This is the first fight with Virgil. Dante loses, but gains his Devil Trigger. This signifies the point of no return for Dante. Is this lore? Kind of. We're like, I'm doing my monthly writing lecture to help my chat get better at writing. Currently, we're talking about the 3-act structure and how Devil May Cry 3 executed almost perfectly. He can't go back to the way things were before. Alright. Act 2 of DMC3. The B character. Hey! Why are you making me put on
light and great power that can split the world in two.
Alright, the B character. Lady. She's been introduced already. But in Act 2, her character is fleshed out, and her motivations are revealed to Dante and to us, the audience, because Dante is the player character and therefore audience surrogate in terms of storytelling. The fun in games. We get to play through the game with Devil Trigger now. What should I buy for breakfast? McGriddles. Hash browns. There. Problem solved. Also, hi, Rize. External to internal. Dante is forced to face his problems of family and responsibility thanks to his interactions with Lady. Because up to this point, Dante's been pretty much ignoring his problems of family and responsibility. He pretty much just cut himself off emotionally. Pretty much even renouncing the fact that he even had a father. Even talking to Cerberus, he admits, like, he doesn't even know what he is. He doesn't know if he's supposed to be demon or human. And he's pretty much shirked off his responsibility of being a son of Sparta. But thanks to Virgil, Arkham, and his interactions with Lady, he's forced to face the reality of his situation. All is lost. After Virgil Fight 2, Arkham reveals he's the true mastermind. Succeeds in opening the demon portal, and on the verge of gaining the power of Sparta. Virgil falls to the abyss. Dante and Lady are left in the rubble. No. Alright. Act 2 of DMC3. Lady is willing to go on, despite overwhelming odds. The question remains: is Dante willing to go on? After Dante's fight with Lady, he, and us the player, knows the answer. Dante spells it out for us. At first, I didn't give a damn. But thanks to you, Lady, I know what's important now. Breakfast poutine. That's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that? Also, hello, Sora. And this is where the point where Dante has his answers. Dante is beginning to transform as a character. He's gone from immature, cocky kid to someone who takes his responsibilities seriously now. So now we move on to Act 3 of DMC3. The story is reaching its climax. Arkham now has the power of Sparta. And Dante is going to stop him. However, it's too much for Dante alone to stop him. That's when Virgil steps in. Yay! Steps in. There we go. Also, I need to save this 3-act structure. Together, the brothers stop Arkham and kick him out. Outside, Lady's waiting for him and shoots him dead. She gets her revenge, but is still deeply hurt that she had to kill her father. And like she said in DMC5, that's not something you can recover from. But it's not over yet. No. The true climax is here. The portal is about to close, but the brothers still cannot reconcile their ideological differences. Oh, come on. This leads to the final fight with Virgil. This is the climax of the game. In the end, Dante wins. The finishing shot is a contrast to the opening cinematic where Virgil is victorious. This signifies Dante's transformation. And the following action. Yeah, this will be its own slide. There's a lot to talk about in the closing sequences. Dante and Lady are left to mourn the loss of their remaining family. Dante's tears signify his growth and transformation, and serve as the inspiration for the name of his new business, Devil May Cry. Even visually, Dante looks different when he opens up shop. Before, he looked ragged and homeless. Now he's cleaned up, displaying professionalism. His office, once dirty, is now tidied up. The Sword of Sparta. Symbolizing his acceptance of his demonic heritage. Ava's photo, reminding him of his humanity. His torn glove serves as a reminder of what he lost in order to grow, namely Virgil. So, basically, DMC3 follows the 3-act structure to a T. Every act caps off with a fight with Virgil. Amazingly. Virgil is present in all 3 acts, which contributes to him being such an imposing and intimidating rival slash antagonist. Alright. And I'm gonna be like quoting Codex Entry's video here. DMC3 also gives us, the players, questions to ponder in regards to the themes of the game. Are we, as children, responsible for the sins of our parents, like Lady so strongly believes? If so, to what extent? How far do we have to go to atone for the sins of our fathers, so to speak. Is it our duty for us, not just as individuals, but also as families, to leave the world a better place than when we entered it? How do our parents define who we are as people? Can we ever escape the influence of our parents? If we can, should we? I think this is why Devil May Cry 3 resonated so much with me, because truth be told, I have struggled with these questions throughout most of my life. But yes, it's funny how there can be ways for the 3 acts to end in very different manners, even if at casual first glance they don't look that different. Oh yes. I kind of noticed when I was first playing through DMC3, because like the first fight with Virgil ends with Virgil winning. The second fight ends in a draw. And the third fight ends with Dante winning. Symbolizing like the character development for Dante. Like, Virgil wins the first fight not only because Dante hasn't awakened to his devil trigger yet, but also because he's like a more immature person. And like the subtitle of Dante's Awakening isn't just talking about his devil trigger, it's also talking about like his responsibility and growth as a character. Fight 2 ends in a draw because like they both have devil trigger, but also Virgil was being cocky by like using both Yamato and the Beowulf gauntlets. And the third fight, Dante wins not because he's stronger, but because like his convictions are stronger. Like, it symbolizes his complete transformation of a character. Like he said when after fighting Lady, he knows what's important now, even though at first he didn't give a damn. But yeah, that concludes tonight's lecture. I know these tend to be pretty short streams, like an hour tops. But I don't think I can talk about like these things for longer than that. I get pretty straight to the point. But anyways, thank you all for joining me in tonight's writing workshop. I hope you all learned something new tonight. I certainly did when I was revisiting Devil May Cry 3. Yeah, and also Virgil was... No, he was using both Force Edge and Yamato. Like, every fight, he's still using Yamato. Anyways, let's go find someone to raid. You know what? Man, there's a lot of people we can raid. Let's see. You know what? Let's go raid Large Nap. It did help me realize how much of the 3-act structures are present in stories I've seen. Definitely! They're present in a lot of stories because they work. Well, if you remember to, like, follow it and make sure you know what you're doing, then yes, it works. Anyways, let's go raid Large Nap. But before I go, you can follow me on Twitter for all schedule updates. Follow my YouTube channel for all the VODs. Join the Discord if you want to hang out. And if you're feeling generous, there's a link to my throne. Also, don't forget, I'm having a 2-year anniversary fan art contest, and you can find the details on Twitter. And there's a raid message. We are going to be raiding Large Nap. She's playing Apex Legends. So let's start the raid, and remember to stay prime.